Welcome to Inside Pitch. I'm Jeff Gordon of the Post-Dispatch, joined by our columnist Lynn Worthy. Well, Lynn, the Yankees kind of reminded the Cardinals this what we already knew. This is, right now is all about next year. Tough weekend series. Now they go forward. An opportunity to just really focus even more than before, and with some of the injuries as well, on next year. So we got to try to pump some sunshine and talk about things that might be encouraging for the longer term.
Yeah, going, up until I guess maybe a few weeks ago, there's still sort of that, playoff is in the picture somewhere, and I guess technically it still is, but really, like you said, that Yankee series made it pretty clear that there was one playoff team there, and it was not the one that was playing at home. So now it's a matter of, okay, what can you find out? What can you sort of position yourself going forward, whether that's in terms of, potentially trades or just evaluating guys for next season or finding out where guys fit into the puzzle. That's the sort of things that you're going to be focused on the last, month and a half. And that's what you get the chance to do. And in some ways, some of the injuries and things play into that as well.
Okay, one of the positives as we pump some sunshine, Michael McGreevy finally gets his chance to join the rotation. It's not always going to be smooth. He's going to give up some runs, the type of pitcher he is, but he's making adjustments during the game, and he's powering through, and he's proving that he can be part of the solution for next year.
And he's been one of the consistent guys in terms of just being able to give you innings and keep you in games and give you, 6 innings, I think the last, or for a stretch of 4 in a row. Whereas you see some of, the troubles with Palante and Liberatore, guys who were bullpen guys who were transitioning to the rotation. Now you see a guy who they kept as a starter, who's had the innings, who's able to power through down the stretch, where the other guys are, you're trying to get them to the finish line. He's going to finish strong because he's thrown 170 innings in previous years and 140, 150 plus. He's not making the transition. And to me, it really informs some of the things that Ollie Marmol said in spring training about wanting to keep certain prospects as starters throughout their minors, and then when they come up, be starters. And I think you see that with McGreevy. You see McGreevy finishing strong. You see the guys who were bullpen guys who transitioned trying to, almost limp through the finish line.
Now, one of the prospects who has been a reliever up through the minors acquired by the Cardinals, Matt Svanson, he is a guy that clearly is built for this type of work, and he's been one of the guys kind of keeping this bullpen in one piece.
Yeah, Swanson and Riley O'Brien have been guys who've looked really good at times, who've given you, more than you probably would have expected in terms of consistency when you took out Maton, Helsley, Matz, and now all of a sudden it's like, okay, guys who haven't had a whole lot of experience, and you expect there to be ups and downs, and maybe they let some games get away. Swanson, Riley O'Brien have looked like guys that you can say, okay, maybe you can already start penciling them into, potentially leverage roles going forward as you start building out your bullpen for next year, and maybe guys who can be around, for a couple of years.
Now, you hate to see injuries. You got Brendan Donovan having a heck of a year, all-star player. He's been trying to plow through an injury. The toe leads to the groin problem. Now he's shut down. It is a positive, though, that you can start spreading some at-bats to other guys, and the same goes for Victor Scott. Unfortunately, he makes a heroic effort to try to steal a home run, jams up the ankle. Now there's some at-bats in the outfield as well. So because of these injuries, the Cardinals are able to get a little longer look at some guys who, one way or the other, fit into future plans, either as trade target possibilities or part of the team.
Yeah, you never want to see anybody hurt, and obviously Donovan's been one of their best players. It was an all-star, but if you're looking at it from a big picture perspective, what he would have given you and helped your team for this season doesn't really outweigh what you maybe are able to find out about guys for next season, or maybe help guys in terms of trade value. So, being able to get Thomas Saggese in the lineup on a regular basis is going to probably be more valuable in terms of his development, in terms of them evaluating him, than being able to run Donovan out there every day and have a better lineup for that particular game. Because like we said, now you're talking about next season. So if you're talking about next season, then not having Donovan in there, again, you don't want anybody hurt, but not having him in there probably helps you more get ready for next season than if he was in there. So if that means, Nolan Gorman's getting regular at-bats, and Thomas Saggese's getting at-bats, and you're getting other guys on the field, And that means that helps you make decisions in the offseason, or maybe it makes other teams get a look at them and have some interest going into the offseason. Those are all positives as you start to think about looking ahead. And with Victor Scott, obviously, he's a guy who could use those at-bats, but you also have a lot of bodies you're trying to get into the playing time in the outfield. So again, no injury is good, but it helps you sort of get some more guys out there. If that means Ivan Herrera is going to be able to get some more left field and you got to bump Newt to center at times, or if it means Nathan Church gets a little bit of a look. Again, you got to try and find positives out of where they're at right now that play into your future.
Yeah, just Nathan Church, an interesting guy. Finally has a really big year offensively, former college player. Profiles as a number 4 or 5 outfielder, but good defender, can run a little bit, getting some at-bats. Maybe there's a place.
Yeah, and it's the things that like that are the things that are going to be important for them to sort of get a sense of down the stretch here, because sneaking into the playoffs is unlikely, so you still have to think about years down the line. And again, we've mentioned it before here, but a new front office regime is going to have to make new evaluations and make some decisions going forward. So getting to see guys in games, big league games, is only going to help them with that process.
Well, that's Lynn Worthy. I'm Jeff Gordon. I want to thank you for tuning in to Inside Pitch. A reminder that we'll be here through the end of the season, and there's going to be lots and lots and lots of extra content in our digital edition of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch right here on stltoday.com. Until next time, for Lynn Worthy, I'm Jeff Gordon. See you later.